Good morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, before we proceed to our new lesson, Livelihood, would you mind to lead the training?
Dear God, thank you for this wonderful day. May you continue to guide us and bless us. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Since I think there's no option for today, it's very good to see that you are all present. Anyway, we just make a simple recap for our last discussion, last meeting. Last meeting, we have discussed evaluation of hazards and risks, right?
Yes, sir.
So, what is again the aim of evaluating hazards and risks? Do you remember?
Sir, it aims to provide at least a minimum acceptable degree of protection that must be afforded to every worker in relation to working condition and danger that may arise by reason of occupation.
Yes, very good. In other words, it is a safety measures recommended to prevent any unwanted incidents that may cause death or passing of any employees. Okay, for today's lesson, I have prepared a short video clip. Please observe and think of what the video is about because I will be asking a question afterwards.
Yes.
Okay. Enggak mo siya. Okay, based from the video, what can you say about the video? What's your idea?
Sir, the video clip talk about hazard and risk and the easy way to how to control both hazard and risk.
Yes, that's why it says that the safety measures and control wherein it says there is what we call engineering controls, warning signs, administrative controls, and so forth. So, what is our lesson for today? So, our lesson for today is all about control hazards and risk. Just for example, how you control this one. You can control sleeps if you clean the floors. As well, you can control falls if you are safety using the ladder, as well as trips. Okay?
Yes.
Before we proceed, I want you to self-answer these five prepared exercises so that we can focus on our new lesson. And I can also understand if you are aware of those control hazards issues. Yes, raise your hand if you're done. So let's both check. Are you done? Okay. For
Yes.
number one, this is a very common question. Chemicals should be rightly blunt to avoid detrimental mistake. Rightly what?
Label.
Yes, rightly labeled. If it is hazardous or non-hazardous, it should be labeled. Number two, injuries, illnesses, and accidents on job should be blank in time for immediate action.
Reported.
Yes, report. Because in any case, it should be reported so that they can be put immediate action like putting first aid and so forth. For number three, the blank is used as a warning of fire.
Fire alarm.
Yes, fire alarm is very useful, especially in large establishment like high-rise buildings, so that people will be aware that there is fire coming in or fire happening. For number four, the way out into the event of fire is blank.
Fire exit.
Yes. So in the engineering or in getting building permit, it is necessary to put on the sketching the fire exit, because without the fire exit, it is mostly common that people are trapped, and many people are dead because of fire. For number five, the collector, transport, and process of managing the disposal of waste is called what?
Waste management.
Yes, waste management. If you say waste management, it include disposal, even the 3 R's and so forth. Since our lesson for today is control hazards and waste, we have safety regulation in the workplace. Because hazards and control is probably most commonly applied on workplaces. Okay, kindly read the what's the first paragraph or the first lines.
Safety regulation in the workplace need to be in place in order to assure the workers that they are cared for. The four major injury industries were in maximum workplace mishap are: 1. Service industry, construction and building industry, retail is source, and manufacturing industry.
Okay, thank you for reading. If we say service industry, it includes airlines, shipping lines, uh, fast food chains. That is what we call service industry. That's why it also include in the safety regulation the following, because there are many people working in the service industry, especially airlines and shipping lines, and lot of fast food chains like Jollibee, McDonald's, and so forth. For number two, construction and building industry. This is what we call the state. There are large scale builders of high-rise building like condominiums, resorts, and hotels, etc. And for number three is retail stores. If you say retail stores, it's like malls, because malls is plenty of retail stores. In short, there are many kind of different shops there. Therefore, there are so many people working there. And number four is manufacturing industry. This is from the word manufacturing. Manufacturing industry. It was a large scale working place also that cater hundreds or thousands of people. Like for example, corporation like Rubina, Rubisco Corporation, and many others. Okay. And based on that industry, there are certain on-job hazards, which is said number one, the floors have to be checked for tripping hazards. Yes, because a simple sleep or what tripping is unwanted incident of sleeping. It's other term of sleeping. So sleeps or can cause what we call death, because if you accidentally sleeps and you cannot balance your body, it's gonna be a big impact. It's gonna be damage your head, and it's gonna cause comatose or maybe death. Or number two, all work should be well lit, and in case there are blind spots, all the employees and workers should be aware of it. For example, in a big working place, workers should know what we call the blind spots, is like the manholes and etc. Number three, cords and wires should be secured away from the walkways and corridors. Yes, because if you're not aware that there are certain of wires or running cords in the floors, you can be with accident like electrocution or electric shock, and that's also very dangerous. Number four is all electric wiring should be covered with appropriate material. Yes, because electricity is not just as simple as a thing, but it should be secured because electricity may cause many accidents, especially fire or electrocution and shock. So, for example, for some repairs, they used to put specific tape, like for example, electrical tape, not using any kind of tape, so that it will be secured. And according to the idea that fire safety regulation and electrical safety should be made, this is the following. Number one, health hazards can be read.
It is required by the management to advise all the workers to stay at home if they are sick as a part of workplace safety regulation. This policy should not be altered and be taken by the employees during such time should be paid leave.
Yes, this is what we call health hazard, or we call required by the management to advise to stay at home. For example, you are sick. So you're entitled to use your sick leave, and that is payable under the law. Another thing is that paternity leave, when your wife gonna delivered, so you are entitled to apply for a paternity leave so that you can care your wife. At the same time with the mother, if she is gonna give born, she's entitled to apply for a maternity leave, and that leave is under the law. The Department of Labor Employment is payable. Okay,
Yes.
and those laws should not be altered. Next, can you read?
Chemical hazard. Chemicals should be rightly labeled to avoid any detrimental mistakes. Mixing of the wrong chemicals can cause terrible chemical reaction which could be hazardous to all the employees.
Yes. For example, if you're working in a cleaning company and mostly chemical used for cleaning is not labeled, of course you can encounter this one chemical hazards. Maybe you can suffer skin burns, allergies, or either suffocation as well. Next is reporting system. Reporting system is to ensure that the best safety regulation in the workplace. There is the need to be a reporting system in place. Injuries, illness, and accident on the job should be reported in time. That's why there are certain supervisors who are supervising their workers so that they will notice even what really happening. If there are certain accidents that may cause injuries or other illnesses, they should report to the management so that first aid can be applied, or in due to severe actions, they can also done to the hospital those patient or employees with who faced accident. Next slide is whistleblower. Being a tall sales is not by choice of most employees. However, in case the behavior of certain employees is not safe or hazardous, it should be reported to appropriate authorities. Whistleblower is the person who's telling the unrighteous behavior of those employees, because there are certain workers that tattletale, what we call mga kasiksip, in other words. So, this is also a hazard. For example, it causes stress or mental hazard because you're working too hard and they're reporting you're not. So it's the proper to report to the appropriate authorities. Next, kindly read.
Clean Air Act. The Clean Air Act outlines that government measures to reduce air pollution and incorporate environment protection into its development plans. It relies heavily on the polluter pays principle and other marker-based instruments to promote self-regulation among the population.
Okay, that's why Clean Air Act is included in our hazard control, because air is what we call one of the most important thing in the planet. Without the air, we cannot live. Therefore, we should take care of our environment, especially our air, because dirty air may cause lots of diseases and illnesses like respiratory problems. That's why the government outlines that Clean Air Act should be pursued by the government so that to control or promote self-regulations of uh, caring the environment among the population. That's why Clean Air Act is included to our hazards and control. Next one is the following is the Electrical and Fire Safety Code. This is also included in our hazard control because fire safety refers to a precaution that are taken to prevent or reduce the likelihood of a fire that may result in death, injury, proper, and damage. So this electrical fire safety code is also included our hazards and control by the government because it is affect the entire population. That's why it should like a hood of fire that may result in death, injury, and property and damage. So this can only happen in the workplace but also in our homes. So the government insists to a fire safety code in the country. Number one is the common fire hazards. This is the, if we say common fire hazards, this is the common causes of electrical fire problems. Number one is the electrical systems that are overloaded, resulting in not wearing a connection or failed components. That's why in the engineering division in a construction company or constructing houses, we need a professional electrician to install electricity so that electrical short circuit connection is prevented. Remember that. That's why if you're planning to make a house in the future, you should refer to a professional electrician. Okay? Number two, combustible storage areas with insufficient protection. If you see combustible storage, this is flammable. Maybe storage of uh, shallows, petroleum gases, and gasoline stations, maybe either. It should be secured and it should be sufficient protection so that it cannot cause fire. Number three is the candle, smoking, flammable liquids, and batteries. Candle. This is very common cause of fire in the many houses because they forget to off the candles. Smoking also, throwing cigarette butts. And then flammable liquids, octane, butane, alcohol, those are what we call combustible and flammable liquids. Also batteries. Batteries, by using batteries in the wrong terminal position, it can also cause fire. Especially on cars or appliances. Next is the fireplace. Fireplace, it is very common in the Western country like Europe and America. Also in Baguio, there are many fireplaces in Baguio. Chimneys are not, it causes because the chimneys are not properly or regularly cleaned. So maybe if you have a fireplace at home in the future, you should always clean the chimneys regularly. For example, the left of woods, charcoals on the fireplace always be removed so that it will not, or after using, turn off the fire. Next is cooking appliances, stove and ovens. Yes. This is commonly happen due to unattended using of cooking appliances like electrical ovens and so forth. Gas stove is the like shallows which has leakage on the hose. It also may cause fire. Okay, in ovens too. Last is electrical wiring in poor condition. If we say poor condition, it needs to be repaired. If you see that electrical wiring is not creating something not good looking or open up parts, you need to repair so that you can prevent what we call the fire may cause of it. So the following are the electrical and fire safety codes and safety tips also so that you can prevent fire. For the next slide, kindly read.
Fire safety tips in the workplace. Anything that is capable in burning should be considered a potential risk. A working ventilation fan should be present as This will help staff escape more safely in the event of a fire due to the smoke and fumes being cleared quicker. Adequate emergency lighting should be installed and battery power 30% of for staff so they can find their way out if power block the building. Ensure that all staff are aware of fire escape routes and install fire alarms. Ensure that any unused power sockets is switched off and have your socket
Okay, remember. Those are fire safety tips in the workplace given, right? Just make a simple explanation. Number one, anything that is capable in burning should be considered a potential risk. So don't play fire. Or if you are doing electrical work or maybe smoking or everything, beware where you are, where your place is. You should consider that everything around you is potential of fire. You should be noticeable that they can cause fire. For example, if you are working in a kitchen and you are cooking something oily or ovening, you should avoid passing scissors. Okay. Number two, a working ventilation fan should be present in this helpful stop escape. Yes, because working ventilation, for example, there's a fire. This working ventilation fan can help to uh, so suck smoke and employees can see the way going out and even prevent from suffocation. Number three is adequate emergency lighting should be installed. Yes, because in time of fire, automatically the power will be off in the building. So those emergency lighting is automatically open to light up the passageway so that employees or the people will be coming out of the building. Number four, yes, it's ensured that all staff should be aware of fire escape. Yes, being the owner of a workplace, you should disseminate the fire exit on all your employees so that in time of fire or any other cases regarding natural or unattended incident, they will notice the fire exit or the fire exit route. For number five, ensure that any unused power sockets is switched off and have your socket instead. Yes. For example, you're working in offices. Be sure that or your gadgets, your sockets are plugged out or switched off so that it will not cause also fire. Another thing is that electrical safety tips. When doing electrical work or using electrical equipment, you should practice safety to avoid electrical shocks. Number one, if you say about we're doing electrical work, you're repairing something or making repair for an appliances or any electrical equipment. Number one, shut off the power to the circuit you are working on. It's common sense. Number two, wear appropriate gloves. Number three, wear rubber shoes with rubber soles. So this is very important because if you are barely posted, it can cause grounds. That's why it's better use rubber shoes with rubber soles, not metal soles. Because metal is a good conductor of electricity. Number four, use tools with insulate handles. If you see insulate handles, they are inductive. They cannot conduct electricity. That's why there are certain screws, especially made using in the repair, that you cannot be suffered from grounds. Number five, keep yourself dry. Also, of course, don't do repair if you are wet. Maybe you're taking a bath and you're touching any repair about electricity. That's not good. Number six, keep the area around you dry. Also, that area it should be dry. Don't make repair on the bathroom or on the water faucets. Number seven, wear safety glasses. Safety glasses, in fact, if you are repairing a high positioned repair, in order for you not to irritate your eye, you should wear safety glasses so that you can see clearly you're repairing. And last is never handle electric switch with wet hands. Of course, if your hand is wet, automatically be grounded. So kindly read.
Waste management. Waste management is the collection, transport, processing, or disposal, managing and monitoring of waste materials. The management of waste tracks all materials as a single class, whether solid, liquid, gaseous, or radioactive substances, and try to reduce the harmful environmental impacts.
Okay. Another thing that why waste management is included in our hazard control because those lot of waste or different waste can also cause hazard. So therefore, we should to control those wastes. And the following are the procedures or techniques in waste management. Number one is waste segregation. If we say waste segregation is segregation, separate each other from biodegradable, non-biodegradable, and disposable. Number two is waste reduction. Waste reduction, uh, this is a way of matter of reuse. For example, rather than throwing those empty boxes, you can use it for ceiling if you don't have plywood. That's waste reduction. Recycling, the same thing. You recycle, uh, for example, a cup of Nissan cup noodles. You can recycle that. You can use it as drinking cups. Okay. Composting is common in our houses. This is a natural from the word compost. You just put in a compost heap and you're gonna fill in with a lot of, for example, lot of leaves or full grasses. And in the future, it will become fertilizers. We call it compost fertilizer. This is composting. Disposal is applied on those hospital because of those toxic equipment or tools they use like injections or any waste operating materials. This is applied for waste disposal. And last is decontamination. Decontamination is, for example, a spread of virus. For example, the COVID-19 that one person in one working place is positive for COVID. Every person working in that place are decontaminated. If we say decontaminate, they're gonna remove all their outfits and they will take a bath and they will spray or put some disinfectant before they going out so that spread of virus will be avoided. That is decontamination.
Yes.
If you understand our lesson, can I answer this five question, which is matching type? Find what does it state from column A to column B.
Yes.
Just raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're done. Okay then. For number one, making waste beneficial. What is that?
Recycling.
Yes. The recovering materials for use in other purpose.
Reuse.
Yes. Proper discharge of waste into land.
Waste disposal.
Yes. Composition of organic matter.
Composting.
Yes, from the word compost. The process of dividing garbage in waste products in an effort to reduce reuse recycled materials.
Segregation.
Yes, segregation. Very good. You read it correctly. And for our next activity, generalization. This is to know if you really understand the lesson. I have here three questions. For number one, what is the importance of safety regulations in the workplace? Julie?
Sir, the importance of regulation in the workplace is to ensure employees and employers safety.
Yes, that is the importance of safety regulation. Everybody is safe. Okay. For number two, how can Air Act help in the reduction of air pollution? How?
Sir, it regulates laws that serve as a standard for population reducing mechanism.
Yes, because with this act, everybody is entitled or mandatory to practice waste management and anything that can harm our air so that we have maintain our fresh air. For number three, in your own words, explain briefly what is waste management. In your own, how would you understand waste management?
Sir, waste management is the collection, transport, processing, or disposal and monitoring of waste materials.
Yes, very good. That is waste management from picking up to segregation, up to recycling and everything, up to reuse and disposal. It is what we call waste management. They manage the waste properly. Okay. For your next activity, I have prepared here different waste materials, and if you understand, you proceed to segregation from reuse, recycle, and so forth. Perform the activity. Of course, you already know what is biodegradable and unbiodegradable. On the other, yes, on the other paper bag you put the biodegradable. On the other one is the non-biodegradable. Let's check. Okay, very good. Now you you already learn what is waste segregation, and it is very good to see. For your assignment, make an advanced reading on maintain occupational safety and health awareness.